Milton Berle once writes, "If opportunity does not knock, build a door." Welcome to Toronto Buzz. I'm your host Khalid Mahmood Atta, and we have another episode of some unique individuals, very exquisite and very talented entrepreneurs with us in our show tonight. Let's welcome them to the show. We have Kathy Williams. Welcome to the show, Kathy.
Thank you, Khalid.
And the very versatile Rakesh Mishra.
Thank you, Khalid. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Thank you for being part of the show. Kathy, what you are, we were laughing about this earlier, you are a naturalist in food.
That's right, that's right.
And a food enthusiast. What does it mean, food enthusiast? What is it?
Well, to me, what it means, Khalid, is I'm extremely enthusiastic, but really passionate about raw living food specifically. So I could call myself a foodie, as people may know that term, but really for me it's more specific. It's about the living food, and it's about food that literally is still alive when we consume it, which when you look at it, there's not really too many options there.
Now there's so many natural foods as well as other options as well. People cook food in various different ways. What made you get into the natural path of food?
Okay, the raw living aspect of food.
Right.
Well, I've been excited about health and wellness my whole life. Since I was a little girl, I thought I actually had superpowers. I thought my body could do anything. And probably not a bad way to look at things. But as I got older, I started to see more sickness around me with family members and so forth. So I started to become very interested in learning about health, what it took to give us optimal vitality and wellness. That led me to the path of studying nutrition from different aspects. And then most recently, when I was a vegetarian for many years, but never really felt that real vitality that I knew we could all feel. The only times I ever felt it was when I was doing some kind of a cleanse, whether it was a juice fast or juice cleansing, something like that. So, believe it or not, it was looking for a raw chocolate recipe online that led me to information that finally opened my eyes to the world of raw living food.
Sure. Now, Kathy is also an entrepreneur, and she's bringing her brand of raw foods as well. Another very successful entrepreneur with us, Kathy, is Rakesh Mishra. He has been in business for many, many years. I've known him for many, many years, a good friend as well. Anything I take out from him is inspiration. He's such an inspiring personality. Rakesh, you've traveled such a distance. What is your story? Who is Rakesh Mishra?
Oh, Khalid. See here, what a good combination that me and Kathy sitting. For me, to success for any person, there are two things. What you eat from the mouth and what thoughts you put in your mind. So she's covering the mouth side and I'll be covering the mind side.
Sure.
Khalid, me, just to take very short route in my story, I was born in very poorest village in India with 6 siblings, and I was the eldest one. Always dream to do something big one day. And that brought me to Canada. But what happened around days when I was in India, I read a book, and it's called The Magic of Thinking Big. And I literally started following that. Just to think big and stretch yourself beyond your comfort zone. Do something today which makes better than yesterday. And that is the things I started following. Living in India with 1.2 billion people, I thought, I have to do a lot of struggle. Why not to leave India? And I left India to Middle East. So I was working in Bahrain. And that time, always I'm after opportunities. It was around year 98, 99, and it was Y2K.
Sure.
What is Y2K? Just changing the date. And someone told me, hey, go to Bangalore, do 30 days course and go to US. And you become IT specialist. I said, wow. And I resigned and went to Bangalore, came to US. And then someone told me, hey, Canada, in US it will take long, but Canada, go and get your passport. I came to Canada and just started.
Now that's a story of success. And as you said, you read a book. Kathy, yourself, you looked into that perfect raw recipe for chocolate. Something along the line in your life, something motivates you. You're looking for something, just like Rakesh is. We know that your inspiration is into food, but how did it change your life?
Well, that's a great question. And I guess on the surface it appears to be all about food, but what it was, where I think we really do have that in common,
Sure.
Rakesh, is the pursuit of excellence, of being able to be your best, but from a perspective of how you feel. So when I started to really dive into raw living food, it opened the door bigger than I ever imagined to how I could feel, how my skin would change, how my vitality would change, how my energy changed, so many things. And so it's had a huge impact.
Now, isn't she a prolific speaker, Rakesh?
Oh,
she speaks so
fantastic.
well. And now she is talking about how she gets her product off the ground, and she's looking into becoming, a brand herself as well as her product. You know a lot about branding. You know a lot about how to market yourself. Today is the day of internet, and I know you've used internet as a tool to position different products as well. What's your take on internet today, as well as marketing and entrepreneurship on the internet?
Khalid, I have self-made a phrase, you can say tagline: no matter what you do in your life or business, you cannot afford not to be online today.
Sure. That's a good tagline for Tag TV.
Yeah, of course. You're free to use it. And especially the social media and internet is the best way you can monetize your knowledge and experience. Everybody knows something to share which can uplift somebody else's life. Many people, they say, hey, I don't have anything. Think about the subject. There is a book written. There is a video available. There is a person, read his book, meet him, attend the seminar and courses, and you can have your own version of the product and use the social media and internet to launch that. Just create your own website, simple free website, and start blogging about your expertise, and soon you realize that you have people who are following you. Sure. Collect their email addresses and then slowly send them some values about her product. Yeah. Hey, what is the benefits?
Now, Rakesh, a lot of these things we do and say every day. We go and listen to some of the motivational speakers as well. We follow some people online as well. But that energy, that first step, sometimes it becomes a hurdle. The life gets us, and we fail to take that first step towards entrepreneurship. So what would you recommend is the best case scenario where you building a brand, where you take the first step? What should be the goal for taking the first step?
I'll take you a little back. Khalid, it was year 2004. Perfect. I was 35 years old, and I thought, my God, the social media and internet is really booming. But people are having difficulty to find this time. Yeah. So I went for 1 week to the Cuba to plan my life. And 1 week I was just reading, writing, and came back to Canada. Hey, Rakesh, retire in next 10 years.
Awesome.
So that you can use these tools to help others. So what I'm trying to say, that you have to take the risk and bold steps. That's what I took in 10 years, and touch wood, I retired just when I turned 45.
Congratulations on that. Kathy, now your first step is coming up. Like you also already took the first step by getting into raw foods, but you're getting into the business of it is another first step.
That's right.
And obviously we were talking about you earlier with you about how good an entrepreneur you are for presenting yourself. You have it all made up for you. So what's the next step?
For me?
Yes.
Wow, that's a good question. And it's very much actually like what you're describing, Rakesh, of course. But really, for me right now, it's putting all of this information together, making it available online.
Pretty good.
As you're saying. So I'll have to check in with you and make sure I got my plan right.
Oh, sure.
But it is really, for me, I feel like it's starting online. It started, I guess I did start a little bit with Facebook.
Sure.
And people kept telling me, oh, you have to get on Instagram. Oh, you have to get on Pinterest. Show this to so-and-so. And there was a little group, but I thought, I want to be more organized and be able to do this properly. So the website is launching June 15th, 5 p.m.
Good luck.
So,
there you go.
Yep. And so that really is the first step I see in this direction. There's a lot of information that I'd like to be able to share with people, teach with people, give them resources, but I want to be able to create a hub where that is, and that's what the website will be for people to go to.
We wish you well. Tell us a little bit about your products. what do we have here? You've brought a whole bunch of foods here. Tell us a little bit about these foods here.
Sure. Okay. To start off with, some of these would be products that I can offer to people for sale as a branded products, but really what this also would be, obviously, Mother Nature made this.
Sure.
But these are also things that people could create at home.
Oh, sure.
Or that they can pick up at the grocery store just to kind of start the living foods lifestyle. And that's really what the excitement is for me, is to be able to introduce this way of living, even in just small pieces, to people, so they can bring it into their home. So what this is here, people may recognize this or they may not, but this is sprouted sunflower seeds. So this is a baby sunflower, right? So the biggest plant that grows. And it's got some of the most nutrition in it and some of the highest amounts of life force, that energy, right, that comes from the sun. And here what we have is, I made for us, we may have to indulge in this later, but it's raw hummus.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we took dried seeds, sprouted them, created the hummus, and then this is raw chocolate brownies.
Sure. Now, a concept that I read about is that in raw foods, you have to consume the food as soon as possible. Yes. After its growth, right?
That's right.
So what's the concept? Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. So, and you brought up a really great point. This is one of the parts that got me excited, not just about raw food, but about living food, is that raw food is great because it hasn't been cooked. So we haven't cooked the vitamins, the minerals, the phytonutrients, oxygen, all these good things out of the food. And they do leave when we cook it. But with living food, even if it's raw, if we don't, there's actually a study, which maybe we talked about before, done at the University of California, where they took a head of lettuce that was growing in the soil, they measured its nutritional value and its life force energy, and then they picked it from the soil, and within 32 minutes, 50% of its nutritional value had disappeared. So raw food is good, but we can't be under the impression that we're getting all the nutrients we need.
Sure.
So when it's living food is literally still growing when we eat it. And when that happens, we've captured all the goodness we were supposed to, and we're able to get the benefit.
Sure, that's great information, Rakesh. Sometimes, as Kathy is trying to do, she's trying to build a new brand, promote herself in a very different way. It's not a regular mainstream type of product. She's trying to. Sometimes we come across roadblocks when we are, especially when we have a new product or a different product, or when we look different or we feel different, and we are not from the norm. So how do you cater to that issue when you're different or your product is different? How do you take that as a positive, or how do you react to that?
Basically, you have to add your personality no matter which product is. It will sell. But you have to be genuine, that who Kathy is. And you have to stand out. You have to be unique in the market. And today, plenty of tools are there in the market who can help you to be different. You ask question how to even start the brand, people don't have money.
Yeah.
Those days gone that you have to have 20 hectare big factories and those things and so many employees. No, just you need your laptop and internet connection, you are on.
Sure.
To your business.
Yeah.
Today, Khalid, out of 7.5 billion people, 3.5 billion people, they are online.
That's a huge market.
Find just 100 people in GTA who can use your product and services and let them pay you $100 a month.
Yeah.
$10,000. I'm not putting the number here to that after money. I'm just trying. Till they don't pay, they are not serious.
Right.
And if they don't pay, they don't listen.
Yes.
So if you are good at something, never teach for free. And if you want to learn something seriously, never learn for free.
Sure. So what Rakesh is saying, Kathy, is basically it doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't. In your case, you look fabulous. I mean, for people like myself, if you don't look good, and if you are different, if your product is different, what he's trying to say is just brand the way it is. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
So
brand you.
Just brand yourself. Okay. So in terms of raw foods, where is the market right now? Where do you position yourself? Where is it going? Do you think people are developing interest?
Absolutely. I think it's still younger here as compared to where it is perhaps in the United States. They're a little bit ahead of us, but I'm excited about where it is now because I do feel the momentum and I can see the momentum. There's more juice bars opening. There's more vegan restaurants opening. So people are awakening to the positive elements of going down this way. Where I see myself as different is I am, as you know, very obsessed with one aspect of
you
it.
have to be.
And that is, yeah, you're right, is with sprouted foods. We don't have a jar on the table at the moment, but that whole element of it is where I am completely excited about, and that's where my whole niche really lies, is in the sprouted aspect of living food.
Sure. Now you have something very raw, and then you have something here which is like a brownie. It's a finished product.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a plant growing into in the ground.
Yep.
So how do you transfer this into that? What do you do?
Good question. Okay, so everything kind of starts out the same in terms of working with different plants and seeds, and we were talking about this a little bit before we started the show. But for example, now you see on top of these brownies there's walnuts. And this hummus here obviously doesn't look like the original chickpea or garbanzo bean, but they started out as the original nut or seed, and the process always begins the same if you're going to go down the route of sprouting. It's just soaking, and then depending on what you want to do with it, if you want to sprout it, it's a series of rinsing and letting it sit and so forth until things like this start to happen. If you want to sprout something, you've got actual growth, so it comes to life. And then you can turn it into a living hummus or living dips and foods. If you want to make something like a brownie, you don't necessarily need your nuts to start growing like this, but you do want to, what we call soaking, to release the enzyme inhibitors, which are things that don't allow us to get the full nutrition from them. And so simply doing that, then allowing them to be dried again, putting them into the brownie by grinding them up, adding flavors like cacao and so forth, and then it's very simple from that point on. That's the one thing about raw food that people need to know, is it's quite simple.
Now this is a phenomena which seems to be very time consuming. It seems to be a lot of effort, a lot of work. Rakesh, time is a precious commodity these days, right? And time is everything. Einstein wrote that if you cannot understand the laws of physics unless you understand time as the fourth dimension. Now time, talking about time, sometimes when we are into developing a brand, a product, or doing something, we're taking ourselves into a journey towards a destination, we get demotivated, detract, and for the stuff Kathy is doing, there's a lot of things involved in just producing one product. So if somebody gets detract, they have a passion, but after a while they get detract. How do you stay focused and stay on track?
Very good question, Khalid. I would like to take example of my great Steve Jobs. People say, hey, survey the public what they want and then you serve them. Steve Jobs was totally against it. He delivered the product public doesn't know. Either his iMac or his iPod or his iPhone. So they say public don't know. So I'm so happy and wishing a female version of our Steve Jobs, Kathy here, that something is coming up new. So if something is new, as the saying goes, if somebody has done it, why not you?
Yeah.
And if nobody has done it, you will be the first one, even better. Doesn't matter how much time it takes. In your lifetime, if you deliver one thing and people remember you, I would like to recite in Hindi something.
Sure.
In Hindi, Indian language. जीते हुए तो लोग मर मर के भी जी लेते हैं, कर जाओ कुछ ऐसा कि मरने के बाद भी जिंदा रहो. Means produce something, even you are dead, still people are remembering you. So Khalid, this is the very short reply that time doesn't really matter. What value you are adding to the system, that matters.
Now if time is tracking you, it doesn't matter, and you're taking a lot of time into something that you are passionate about, you get detracked. How do you stay motivated?
Good question.
See, if you are trying to detract yourself, it means you don't have enough passion.
So
if you have really passion, sometimes you see, Khalid, remember those college days when you were that after girl? And some
never.
Okay. Just kidding. And you don't realize the time, and by the time it's 8 o'clock. That is called the passion. See, if you have that kind of passion that I want that girl to marry or whatever it is, if that passion is there, believe me, you will not be distracted. You will make it. And believe me, success doesn't give you much happiness, very temporary. But the failures always give you a lesson, always. So fail early, fail fast, fail often, and if possible, fail big as much as you can. And believe me, you will be in your track, nobody tracks.
So some people say that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. You believe in that?
Sure. Of course.
So if
destination keep changing.
Okay, there you go.
Destination keep changing based on the journey. Today you want to take a train. Oh, so nice. Tomorrow you get bored. You want to take a plane. Tomorrow you get bored. You want to own your plane. So this, journey, that's what you enjoy.
Evolves with time.
Of course.
So now, Kathy, talking about evolving with time, I know that when you first start a journey, you look different, you feel different.
Yes.
And how good is experimentation? How successful have you been with trying your own products and feeling that success within the product and within yourself?
Great question. And that's part of what gave me that passion to keep going, because I did see such fantastic changes. And really, it was, in the beginning, what drew me was the chocolate. But then when I learned what it was all about and the facts behind the fact that you can, it helps making you more youthful and more vital, that started to get my attention. I'm like, wow, so you mean to tell me if I eat more living foods, I'll feel more alive and I'll look more alive and I'll start to look and feel younger? I said, okay, I'm in. And so that's what started to happen. I started to see changes, that my skin started to get smoother, my complexion started to get clearer. And for any ladies that are watching, if you start to notice that you're putting less concealer on your face on a daily basis, that's always a good sign. And so I started to feel and look more youthful and vibrant. And
get more energy, feel more energized. Okay.
And people started asking me, what are you doing? Like, they're just drawn to you. And I really believe it's the energy that you're consuming. It literally energizes the cells, protects the cells from aging prematurely and getting sick, but also makes you feel like you're literally an energetic magnet to positivity.
Sure. Now, you've come this far in this journey. And kudos to you, hats off to you. It's an exceptional effort. Now, if somebody wants to, obviously people would like to get to know more about yourself as well as your products. If somebody wants to get more information, where would they find Kathy Williams? Okay,
sure. They will find me at sproutingtolife.com. That's the website. My email is Kathy with a K, Kathy, at sproutingtolife.com. The website is we'll say renovation, because it was live and now we've had to make some adjustments to it. Sure. But there will be full resources for people, how they can start sprouting, things that they can just purchase in terms of kits to get them going, training, and the whole 9 yards. So there'll be lots of information there. Yeah.
Okay. How about yourself, Rakesh? How do you, I know that you have a regular podcast, you talk to public as well, you are a public speaker, you go to events and talk about motivation. If somebody wants to follow Rakesh Mishra, what's the best path?
Khalid, I was in California last year, and the way I'm talking, the same way I used to talk there also. So some of my friends in that hotel, when we meet for the drink, they said, Rakesh, when you talk like you're on fire. I said, okay. Then I bought my domain. It's called rakeshmishraonfire.com.
That's awesome.
You can go on that website and email youreachrakesh@gmail.com, or simple. So, and otherwise, go to Facebook,
Google Rakesh Mishra.
Just Rakesh Mishra, maybe Toronto, because it's very common name. So, that will take you to me. I'll be more than happy to really interact and reach, and if any way I can help.
Sure. Now, Rakesh Mishra's story, I've heard it many times. We've been friends for over a number of years. What is it that you would like to tell the audience that is different for Rakesh Mishra? What made Rakesh Mishra?
There is a word in English called conformity.
Sure.
Stay away and start listening to your heart. There are 6 things in life, call it health. I'm not trying to be spiritual here, but health, wealth, family, career, social life, and spirituality. Every 6 months, take half an hour. If possible, on your birthday, take 1 hour. Just review these 6 areas and find out which area is doing the best, and also find out why. Try to maintain them, and whatever is doing the worst, try to put some efforts on it. Believe me, if you don't feel good from your inside and some of the areas are broken, believe me, really doesn't work, no matter how successful you are. So success has no rules. So in the Rakesh Mishra way, just follow your passion. And again, I will repeat, use the internet and social media just 1 hour a week. No matter what you do, you are doing the business, you are doing the work, spend 1 hour and believe me, something called power of unknown. The kind of things will develop one day. You'll find, hey, I don't need to work for somebody.
Sure.
And this, your passion, 1 hour a week in internet and social media is all about connecting to the people.
Sure. Sure.
Unless you help someone else, you don't feel from inside really happy. So just try to build that.
Yeah.
Really, like you mean it, not like that. Hey, hello, yeah, Sprout, $10, 8. No, you mean it. You want to see people. You know, believe me, I'm feeling energy when looking this is, Kathy's stuff. And she's not just selling the product. Yeah. She's selling the dreams, the life, the energy. Yeah. Anybody can live 25, 30 years very energy. It matters when you turn 40 and above. You need these things. There is no ifs and buts. Sure. Okay, so live Rakesh way, live your passion, don't conform to, sometimes little rude, but I say even what our parents tells us, try to analyze them also. Because many things they have not been exposed to, which are in demand today, how they can teach you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay?
And that's a totally different subject, Rakesh. We have to bring you back to talk about multiculturalism and, and life in Canada and, our issues with the youth as well. Kathy, any final words? Anything you want to address to the audience? Tell them about yourself, or give them a little motivational speech like Rakesh as well?
Sure. I don't think I can bring so much fire to it.
Oh, Kathy, you can.
But I'll bring some life force energy.
Oh, very good. Here you go.
What I'd love to say to people is it doesn't matter what you're dealing with, what you're feeling like right now, how old you are, how young you are. You owe it to yourself to learn how to take best care of yourself. And if you're struggling with some kind of illness, disorder of any kind, how to maybe heal yourself or start to go in the direction to better yourself without, necessarily feeling like a victim. And if it means that, you start experimenting with just natural foods, I'd say please take a look in that direction. I'm not going to promise you, that everything will disappear for you in a moment, but there's a lot, as we were talking about before the show started, there's a lot of truth that we've forgotten as things have gotten more systematized and automated and prepackaged. I think it's time to reverse engineer the way we're living and discover the beauty and the power in that.
Sure. Now they say that we've very well said. Now they say that we've destroyed the world so much that the recovery path is a long ways. Do you believe in that?
I believe it's going to take work, but I do not believe that it's too far.
Okay.
Not at all.
Perfect. So with that thought, Rakesh bhai, if there's anything else you want to add before you leave?
No, I think, I'm really grateful that you brought me here. And believe me, today, the world is really beautiful. It's never been, it's never been in human race the age we are living in, the kind of opportunities and the kind of avenues where you can make a difference. Today, there was a time 40 years ago, only rich class can afford to even have a video camera to take their life to capture. Today, your smartphone, basically your studio is in your pocket.
Sure.
It just take an initiative.
Sure.
And that's it. And you can make a difference. Do something, audience. You have lived for yourself enough and you are living. Do something where you can make a difference to your society, to your community, to your nation. Good luck.
Thank you so much. With that thought, I really thank Rakesh Mishra to be here, as well as Ms. Kathy Williams. Thank you for being part of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, with that thought, we come to the close of the show, and until next time, keep watching TAG TV. I'm your host on Toronto Buzz, Khalid Mahmood Atta. See you on TAG TV soon.
#1 multicultural channel. This is TAG TV.